Okay. Yeah. So I posted assignment one. Assignment one is due week 4 Saturday. It is deadlines in class one. So look here, this assignment one, it is Saturday of week 4. So you have about 1 week to make it nice and upload it. I assume that you did already most of it, so it wouldn't take much time to do that one. Assignment 2 will be posted also about 1 week, well, maybe even 2 weeks, because now it's week 3, and it will contain Stateflow view models, but I will start explaining Stateflow view models today. So hopefully most of it will be explained even today. So I assume that, I will post it in week 4, so you'll have 2 weeks to do. It really depends if we have a navigation in assignment 2. If we put navigation in assignment 2, I cannot post it on week 4 unless it started before. So let's think about it. So definitely assignment 2 should contain Android, not just the command line console application like assignment 1. So I will think where to post it. And there is also quiz. Quiz will contain Kotlin, and it will also contain some basic Android information. And I will do Kotlin before that. A quiz will be take home to attempts. I've posted about 1 week before and due on Saturday night. It will record highest attempt out of 2. So let's look what is assignment. I will make assignment Dropbox today. If Dropbox doesn't exist yet, I will make it today. I will make all assignment Dropboxes today. Right? So what is inside of assignment? So let's see. Assignment 1. It is extremely important to make it work to some degree in order to get a decent grade. You have about one week to make it work, and you already start working on it. So no excuses if it's crashing immediately or just it cannot start or it doesn't compile. If such things happens, like it is crashing immediately, it doesn't compile, you will get extremely low grade, less than 30%. It is guaranteed, or at most 30%. Yeah, because assignment, it is open book, open internet, open anything. You can find information. If it doesn't work, you can troubleshoot. You have infinite time, not infinite entirely. So for this reason, there is no excuse if your program is not compiling or crashing immediately. So in order to get a reasonable grade, your program should work at least partially. And grade is proportional to how much it can do. Okay. So this is how I estimate. It will be graded out of 10. And there is no fractional grade. It's, for example, no grade 5.1 or 5.2. It is either 5 or 6 or 7, like this. So use IntelliJ IDEA Ultimate and do exercise 2. That was for exercise 2.1 as it post. What to submit? Zip your project and upload it to Slate. I didn't copy paste text of exercise 2 to avoid extra, not work for me, but extra comparison, because if I copy paste you, some students may wonder what is the difference. Even if I copy paste. So for this reason, I just say exercise 2.1, so it means no difference. So this is intentional. Yeah. Before you submit, make sure that you submit the folder that you want to submit. because if you submit accidentally something else, you can resubmit definitely before deadline. This way, I will set Dropbox, so you can resubmit as many times as you like before the deadline. It will replace previous one. You can definitely download it back and to see what you submitted. If you resubmit after deadline, you have 3 days. And if you do it, you will get it with penalty. Great with penalty. A late penalty. Yeah. Penalty is according to instructions from Applied Computing, 10% per day, and you must submit it after 72 hours. It means Dropbox is closing, deadline is on Saturday night. It means you cannot submit it later than midnight of Tuesday. You will see closing time on Dropbox, and please do not try to do it last moment because it's late. Clock can be a little bit off from your clock, and if it happens, you can submit it. So for this reason, do it in advance of time, or you can always resubmit it later if you get some perfection, like sure you want to perfect it and resubmit it. So for this reason, do it. My advice in any assignment in this course, do your best within some limited time, submit it, and if you have time later left, you want to perfect it and submit it again. This is the best approach, in my opinion, because who knows what happens before the deadline. So do it as soon as you can, achieve something good enough, submit it, and if you want to perfect it later, just submit it again with better code. Yes? No, it is exactly like you see exercise 2.1 I said. That was the reason why I didn't copy paste, because if I copy paste, people will wonder what is the difference. So what is written in exercise 2.1, this is a silent exactly. So extra instruction on the top, it is just to tell that you need to make it work. I expect that you use Git. It doesn't say explicitly, but I expect that you use Git. I will not subtract points if you don't do it, but I will do it, subtract points in assignment 2 if you don't use it. What to submit, zip entire project file and upload it. You don't need to delete anything. In some courses, like in this course later on, when we use Android Studio, I will ask you to delete specific folders because they're huge. Before you submit your assignment, before you zip and submit your assignment. In this case, project is not too large, so you can zip entire project as it is and submit. Questions? Please make sure that you submit your work that you want to submit, so it's not accidentally another course. Assignment 1. Okay. And dates on files do not remove anything. Dates inside in commit also don't mean anything. So I tell you explicitly, so be aware that dates on files and dates on commits do not mean anything, doesn't have any value to me. Only what matters if you submit your assignment before deadline into Dropbox. So I will not take any kind of excuse. I didn't submit it, or I accidentally submit something else into Dropbox. But you see, this is the folder on my laptop. It's the date on the file is before deadline. No. Deadline was to submit work, not to finish work on your laptop first. Second, date can be set to any date, like with even months ago, even year ago. It's easy. And I know it's easy. So just because I know it's easy, I do not take it as evidence. All right? So this is about assignment 1. Any questions? So in week 3, in the previous lesson, we continued working on my TipCalculator. And I said that we made it work, actually. And of course, it wasn't pretty. Okay, we spent 3 hours working on it, and limited things can be done in 3 hours, right? So, and I said, okay, next time I will maybe work on it, and we will start with something close but not identical. So this is what happened. Today I will explain new topic using a code of TipCalculator. I made intermediate version between this and this, and I will explain that intermediate version, and we will start from that. So it is close to this one, but with additional GUI bells and whistle. So I will start. I will open this and open that, and we will continue with this project. I also posted final version of this lesson in here as separate branch. So if for some reason you don't see something on the screen, or what you type you need something, there is a final code already posted, and I'll explain it. Also, there are other projects that I posted as demo, and I will partially explain in class. Why partially? Because GUI programs do have a lot of little details. I will emphasize things that looks important to me and like deserve to be talked about. And talking about why this font size is this, but this font is something else. Yeah, it is just a choice. You can change it, you can do it differently. It's not. So what looks like just a matter of choice, I will just skip explanation because it's just a matter of choice. I will emphasize only things that make a difference, because if it's not done, it will not work. This kind of stuff. So I will talk about dice game, paper, rock, or scissors, one version of paper, rock, or scissors, and also math trainer. All of these examples, I did it from scratch, including TipCalculator. And why did I do it? And there are two reasons why I do things from scratch. Because if I do not code anything, I'm not sure I understood it. Okay. So for this reason, I strongly advise you just pick some simple project yourself and try to implement it. This way you know that you understood how it works. So for this reason, I do examples from scratch, but of course it's not total arbitrary choices. I do it based on studying Google examples. So I try to imitate the approach in my example. Okay. So where do I get information? Definitely Google courses that I posted links, and I highly encourage you also watch their videos and do those things. Why I don't use directly Google examples directly? There are two reasons. One of the reasons is it is extremely slow. If I go exactly with the path of that course, we will never finish what we're supposed to finish because it goes really slow. So I cannot really repeat it in class the way how they explain it, because it takes, instead of 3-hour lessons, it will be like an entire day or something. So for this reason, it's one of the reasons. A second reason, you can watch this yourself. And what is the point of coming in class if I repeat exactly the same thing, exactly the same steps from that course? One more thing, that this course is finishing sooner than we finish, because it is like in terms of theory. The reason is that this course is the first and last course in native Android programming. Most likely, I will say 95% probability that you will not have Android course in native programming at all anymore. So this is first and this is last. You will have hybrid courses, you will have iOS courses, but this is last in native Android programming. It means I need to introduce topics that are necessary to understand in order to understand examples from Google, in order to understand other tutorials from Google. So you can keep learning yourself. So for this reason, this course contains more information than course from Google. So because I grab things from the documentation, from textbooks, but I definitely verify my code against their code, so I'm not doing something stupid. So they do have TipCalculator example, and they explain it like with little steps, but the example is a lot simpler. Hence, this shorter code. All right, so they do also have dice game, but with one dice. Of course, it is shorter. And TipCalculator also, it has no choice with radio buttons. It is just whatever you type, it converts. So I highly encourage to look at the examples, but again, I cannot really repeat them for so yes.
So I'm into that
Assignments folder doesn't exist yet. I will create one. Yep. It's empty. If you go here, it's nothing there. I need to click this button in order to make it. Assignment is due next Saturday, so you have some time to clear that up. And I encourage you to submit something early and to submit it later if you have time. Yes? Exercise 3.1 is saying in the end that it's necessary for assignment 2. Okay. It is not assignment 2 for sure. Assignment 2 will be more complicated because they provide solution of it. Okay, they provide solution of all labs. This tells you just do the labs, and they do it's like type this, copy this, type this, copy this. So it is hard to make it wrong. So, and they give you final code to you. But this exercise contains extra theory. Which theory? First, they show how to use lists, how to display lists. We'll have also examples with lists. I will also explain. But additionally, they explain how to do themes. It will custom appearance of your app. So far, we just change it font sizes or change it colors, right? But themes, it is by far more advanced way of customizing your app. So this is, I highly encourage you to do exercise 3. Super useful. And in assignment 2, I will ask you to customize. So you have to watch this thing, or at least understand what they do in order to understand how to customize theme or assignment. So this is exercise 3. I will not go through this in class because the instructions are directly straightforward. They're all recorded and entertaining. So it is really entertaining to watch. So please do it. Okay. So this is about exercise 3. It's about Android and customizing themes in Android applications. And they also have some simple animations, how to do some simple animations. So this is exercise 3. Please do it definitely after you finish assignment 1. Obviously, it's not for grade, but I assume that you already finished assignment 1, so you can submit it like tomorrow. Okay? Questions? So I will not directly rely on it in my today examples because today examples don't use themes. But in future examples, I will refer to these ideas. Okay? So, and this is about exercise 3. Next step, a TipCalculator. In the class, when we worked on code of my TipCalculator, we realized that when we run it, sometimes keyboard doesn't pop up, and I said that okay, I will try to figure out what's the issue. It is bug. It is definitely bug. I verified code 100%. It's like it goes according to documentation. No divergence from documentation at all. It is definitely bug in API 35. So if we use API 34, it works perfect. no matter what kind of device we create with API 34. But it appears like it's a bug in 35. Sometimes it pops up, sometimes it doesn't, and it's hard to predict. So what did I do? I made the device with API 34. So I highly encourage you to make one, to make a device with API 34. Which one I selected? I selected medium size phone, API 34. And with that settings, everything looks just fine. So I assume that it's a bug in API 35. So in Android Studio, when you click here, you can click Virtual Device Manager. In Virtual Device Manager, you can click plus. In the plus, after this, you click phone, medium phone. This is what it seems the logical one, it's a good one. So believe me. Okay. I click at medium phone. I click next one. I did 34 and I download it. You don't have this in black color because you have download button. So I click it download. And after you click download, you will get it in black, like bold color. So I download this thing by clicking this button. It takes a while to download. So if you don't want to do it, it's fine. Just do it at home. I'm video recording this so you can watch. And I click it next, kept it, click it finish, and it's done. It's adding number 2 because I already have one of them. Okay. You will not have 2. So from now, I will use medium phone API 34 unless some other issue happens. I tested it for different examples that I have. It seems like work without issue. This works without issue. So from today and later on, I will use medium phone API 34. Do you have any questions, complaints, issues? Yes.
Because go to your but don't like do this happen. That's the reason.
No. This is the reason why I said instead of copying text from exercise doesn't say you to do testing, right?
Yes,
It does? Oh, don't.
and count. Are we
What?
are we on what is that?
Yes, in Android. Okay. So I will delete that part. I didn't realize that it hasn't. No. Okay, it's optional. Okay. So I will not delete it, but I will not reduce grades if you don't do it.
You're balling.
No. Okay. The reason is that in IntelliJ, when you generate tests, sometimes it doesn't work. So this is why I will not. If you make it cool, if it works, it's cool, perfect. But if you don't make it, I know it's an issue, it's a bug. Okay, so I will not reduce grades. So I will not delete it from the text, but I promise you it's video record. You can refer to video, okay, to my voice on video. That I will not reduce grades if testing is missing in assignment 1. Okay, so it is recorded. Okay, evidence and recorded. Yeah, questions? So this is how I click it finish, and I got medium phone API 34. I deleted all others so I don't run the stuff accidentally on something else. So this is, and again, I will keep using it unless some issue happens. Later in this course, we will have another device. Definitely, yes? No, it seems like, but this is better. So I made medium phone API 34. You can use anything, but just test assignment 2 on this one. Later in this course, we will create one more device, and it is resizable. To test application with different screen size. But it will be close to Victor. Okay. Definitely, in order to test application with different screen sizes, we have two options. One either to create multiple devices with different screen sizes, right? Or use some trick which is resizable device. Okay. So we will definitely use this one, but later in the course, like week 6. The plan is for week 6. Okay. Cancel. All right, cancel. So this is how to edit and just close this thing. Let's check it. Class apply. Week 6. Adapt application to different screen sizes. Okay, this is when we will use it. Only on week 6, actually, problem level games. All right, so let's go back to content and clone. Not clone, it is the same code, so you don't have to clone. A TipCalculator. So I didn't touch this code since last lesson. So if you coded it with me, it is the same code. If you say need something, you can clone it. I will not continue working on this code. I will just open it. So I open my TipCalculator Android. Yes?
Are you in week 12?
Yeah, I will use medium phone. Yeah. A medium phone API 34. Yes? Yes. This is your Android Studio. When you close projects, it will look like this. Okay. If you have some project opened, you can reach it here, this button, Device Manager, and you can click plus here. If you have project opened, create virtual device, and it opens this. Okay.
I think it's the
34. This is what I found out. No matter which device I pick, I have keyboard issue. Sometimes it pops up, sometimes it doesn't. I tried Android 8, I tried medium phone, I tried Pixel, that's Android 8, Pixel 8, Pixel 6. All of them has keyboard issue. Sometimes it's unpredictable. Even in the same application run, it pops up, you run it further, it doesn't pop up. So this is, my understanding is probably bug in 35. So this is why I switched it back to 34. When I taught this course in summer, I used it 34. So through the entire course, it was fine.
Right, but in I always let the nineteen out of it, so I'm thought later. These thought doesn't say it's opposite. Yeah. I'm the concept, like it.
No, ideally, your app should work on different device screen sizes, but you should be well written to work on different screen sizes. So that's, yeah.
The only at least it has it's an actual opportunity to know like what but it was the best spot that all of it out.
Okay. Again, this is my understanding, but I do not guarantee that it is the case, but this is how I understand it. So, when we add device like this, create virtual device, this is generic. Something small, something medium, something large, like fault, right? It is not actual device, it's kind of sample for a general thing. These are imitations of actual devices. So exact pixel size, diagonal, and so on. When we go to select features, or for example, select small phone. Go next. You see that this says Android 14, Android 15, Android 14, right? Android 15 is just came out, right? And perhaps on actual release somewhere on the device, it is compiled differently and it was not launched. But these images are compiled not for Android phone. It is compiled to run on your Mac or on your Windows. So it could be some issue there. It's my understanding. Again, maybe it's not the case. Because these images that we run, they're compiled for our laptop. It's not for Android device. So again, it's how I interpret it. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay. So I don't know if this is an issue for Android 15 in general. Probably it's not. Otherwise, they would figure it out. But it appears like it is somewhat compilation issue for compilation settings issue or whatever of when they compile this format. Because I noticed it on, and I think I also noticed this on Windows as well. Okay. When you create your project, you select range of versions where it's supposed to work. But it does not apply to range of screen sizes. For example, you can create some dimensions that doesn't fit physical screen. So for this reason, you have to test it for different screen sizes. Okay. So when we select range of devices to compile, right, it will compile, but text may go outside of the screen or something like this. So for this reason, yeah, you have to test it on different screen sizes. So this is a TipCalculator, and this is not the one I wanted to open. I wanted to open the one what we finished in class. So file, recent projects, and my TipCalculator. New window, here it is. This is how we left it in class. And I explained that if we create state variables, will be state object. This state object will trigger update of the screen. When we use byte, we delegate setter and getter from this variable to this object. So when we assign new value to this variable, it will trigger screen because it will call setter of this object. I updated Android Studio today. And this is why it is showing up, start AGP upgrade system. In many cases, it will break up, but in some cases, it doesn't. Okay. So I advise you to update your Android Studio the soonest you can, because this version is patch 1. It means the patch means fixed something. Okay. So patch 1 came out probably like yesterday or so, because it pops it up in need upgrade. So don't do it in class, but unless you cannot run my code. If you cannot run my code, of course, do it in class. But otherwise, just do it tonight. So current version is patch 1, or whatever is there, patch 1. You won't necessarily see this one on your laptop because it shows because I updated Android Studio. What is Android AGP? It's Android Gradle plugin. It is some plugin that compile Android code, and this is plugin for Gradle. So I will just close this. Next. What did we do? So this will trigger update of the screen. This is not the same as service cost, because service cost is the string, but this is conversion of the same thing to double. And please notice this should not be var, it should be val. Why it should be val? Because although it appears that this part is recalculated, it is recalculated on next function call. So essentially it is just new constant. Okay. So this is actually val, not var.
Grand.
Yeah, the reason why it's val, because this is updated on next function call. But next function call will you update one of these three vars, and they have to be var because content should be updatable. All right. Next, we did calculate C and build auto. Okay. And we manage everything within the same file. We have scaffold. Scaffold is way to maintain items on the screen, like you have title, you have floating button, and middle area. In this case, we just had middle area without title and the top bar and floating button as toolbars. So what do we have here? We have compose functions for service cost input, service quality input, and roundup tip input. Okay. That will take lambda function as second parameter, and lambda function, when it is called from here on change, it will call given lambda function. So you see, this lambda function is called on change of what we typed. This lambda function will update content of this trigger box, because setter for this variable will be delegated to this trigger box. So this is the idea how we left it last time. So it definitely works to some degree, right? Although it looks a little ugly, but it works.
Yeah.
But what is the issue about keeping variables here? Yes?
We could look without and study. That's our mud. Or finding it. They tell how it comes. I feel finding here. Let's say it was well hung.
Okay. I don't get your question.
Like for us hiding, he say we're into missing that busy and he's not in a house. So he said, "Bye." Like we said, it was like said, I marked me with like, each hour in my green answer. And since I like to buy the lead, where is the Homer wanted this went.
It should not look to me like it's done accidentally bad way. Okay. So if it looks like it's accidentally bad, of course it's probably you cannot fix it. So it's just or it shouldn't look like totally obviously sloppy, like everything in the corner, kind of this.
SCF talking.
Yeah.
It's just sorry. For a little and so we're in the pumpkin like the bonds curly year though.
Okay. So for example, please stop chatting. I can hear you across the room. I can still hear you across the room. Please stop chatting. I still can hear you. So, how this works? When we organize things on the screen, we create functions per portion of the screen. So this function is the portion of the screen. So we have a portion of 3 inputs, right? We cannot put these variables. If we include these variables inside of this function, we cannot do calculation because it will be variables in 3 different functions, logically. So somehow we need to take it outside. So they will be available outside in some common area where we should be able to calculate. Okay. So this is the logic why we cannot store these variables inside of these 3 functions. So inside of this function, definitely this function should display current state on the screen. Like whatever is selected should be shown on the screen. So for this reason, we pass value of this variable to the function, so it is able to display what is there. Yes?
So it starts to collect them. So you guys talking to this.
This is not lambda function. This is lambda function. So this is a regular variable passed here as copy.
Oh, I know some storms in patterns, so you go, game, and we see again patterns.
This is not lambda function, this is variable.
The log did it, you have said following and we thought.
This, no, it's not lambda function, it is composable function. So this is composable function. So this composable function receives this thing, so it is able to display it. Or what? No, this is not. Yes, service cost. Service also, quality also have this. So it can select ready button properly. And when you click on ready button, it should be able to update this variable, but you cannot update it because it's a copy. When you pass variable as a parameter, it's a copy of it. If you update it here, you will update copy. You will not update what is above. In order to update what is above, we pass lambda function that will update it. So this type is lambda function, and this lambda function will be called here. You see on click, we call this lambda function to update this variable outside. So this is why we use lambda functions, to update variable outside of this given. So, and obviously when you call it, yes.
Unit there.
Unit means what? Yes. It means this lambda function does not return any value. So the type of this lambda function, parameter is service quality, doesn't return any value. It has one parameter. Okay. So how to call it? We previously learned that if last parameter of a function is lambda function, we can write it outside in curly braces. Technically, what happens is this. On change this part. See? So if I put tab and delete this thing, it is exact equivalent. So if last parameter is lambda function, you can just put it outside of this call. Yeah. I hope it's more clear, right? Or no? So this part, it is just last parameter of this function call, like this. What is it? It is the default name for the parameter of lambda function. If you do not want it, you can just say value or whatever v and just describe it like regular function, and this way you assign v. Okay. So it is shortcut for whatever parameter of this lambda function. Okay. More questions? So what is good and what is bad about it? Good is definitely short, right? But this is probably the only thing which is good. Yes?
Like orange thing is no.
This is the name of the parameter of this function. You see it? This parameter.
Way back from where?
It's a parameter name. In Kotlin, we can call it like in Python. So
I think what meaning? That is.
Yes, it's a type of this variable is lambda function.
Well, I think the
yeah. So this type definition is a lambda function that takes string as a parameter and does not return this. So yes, this is type lambda function. More questions? So what is here? It is parameter name. You can, if you don't have to use it, if you have two parameters, you keep the same order, it's fine. It will find out by order. Yes?
Everything vowels and goes outside. I just need to worry that. What can you not try? Yeah.
You can use a regular function instead of lambda function, but you need to convert it. Because This expect lambda function is a parameter.
Or they see that that's really on.
Well, if you pass regular function, you have to use double column to convert it into lambda function. You will see it into the example. Where we will convert regular plot function, we will convert methods into lambda functions.
Oh, as a sort outside me to but like colleges fix the thing like tablets in the pharmacies the charging side and like just something the million what during place another fall the
Okay. So let's look on this thing, because this is the most kind of fancy part, right? So when we click on this radio button, system will call given lambda function. And I really have to create lambda function at this point, because I need to comply to a signature of radio button function, because the radio button function really expects here type lambda function. But what is expected type is null parameter and return value is 0. Or null. You can assign null instead of on click, because you see it is question mark. So you can assign null instead of this lambda function. So it is parameter on click, it is either is a lambda function that does not take any parameter and does not return anything, or null, because it's null. What I do, this is the type of this lambda function is not the same as what is expected. So I cannot really assign this one here. Wrong type. Plus, I want to pass this parameter outside to tell what is actually clicked. Because this way I tell code outside what I click. Because when I click on this radio button, I call on change with parameter amazing. When I click on this, I call on change with parameter good. Okay? So I cannot pass parameter outside unless I do have the parameter, obviously. So this is why this function has a parameter. So on click, system will call this lambda function in curly braces, and this lambda function on the curly braces is calling given lambda function with the parameter. So I have lambda function is calling lambda function. So this is how it's done. So this is lambda function calling this lambda function. And this lambda function is passed as a parameter to this function. And where it is this one. This lambda function is passed as a parameter to on service quality input. This is second parameter. Okay? So this is the sequence. I can use regular function, but there's no point since a GUI expect lambda functions. I will have to convert it. So when there is a point of using it, we will use it. I promise you will see it in today's code. Okay. Any questions? No? Yes? What is remember? The logic how it updates the scheme. So these pieces, when you change these values, system will be triggered. Okay, I need to update the scheme. How it will update? It will call this function again. And when this function is called again, you should not lose the value, this variable value, obviously, because you display it. Well, so this wrapper around trigger box,
and
creates some extra logic, so it is saved between function calls. So this is the meaning of remember. Save this value inside of the box between functions. And if you don't have this remember, it won't be saved. It will be newly calculated variable. So this will be newly calculated variable because it doesn't have remember in it. Okay. More questions? Remember does not mean remember it during rotation. If I rotate the screen, it will be lost. Remember means remember it between function calls, between updates of the screen, essentially. So let's run it. So $23.53, amazing quality. See, you see it's updating tip. Now let's rotate the screen. We can close this in. Let's rotate the screen. This is goal, this is default, this is default. So this is what I mean. Remember works for updates of the screen, but not for rotation. For rotation, why does it work? It is saved somewhere in the properties of activity. And activity is discarded and created again during rotation. So there are ways to deal with it, and we will learn today. It is one of the issue. What is here? You can deal with it by using remember savable. If you use remember savable, it will stay saved during rotation. But again, it's only one thing, but there are other issues if we stick to this logic. So it is useful, but only in specific scenarios. For example, you use remember savable for specific GUI parts that logically for the screen. Okay. Other things. Since this stuff is inside of a function like this, stored inside of GUI function, it is hard to connect other logic that can be potentially complicated. For example, data is coming from internet. So you need to send request to internet and wait for response. And after this, you do something on the screen. This will be extremely hard to manage here because this function is called repeatedly when you update the screen. So somehow you need to preserve function internet call state. So it is complicated stuff, right? So you need to start a task that will survive these function calls. So if data is coming from outside, like databases or internet, this will be quite hard to accomplish if you store data inside of GUI. So this is one of the issues. Other issue is data organization, because it's not a GUI part if you store data separately, right? So it's not GUI. Yes, I think I pushed.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't. Okay, I will. Just one moment. First, let's put this back to it. Okay, makes sense. And I'll okay. And do the second. That's commit. Right. So we need to, bottom line, we need to do better than that. Next, I will start today coding exercise, not from this code, but with something intermediate between what we have in TipCalculator and this, because that has better GUI and better you'll see. So now please open TipCalculator, reclone TipCalculator, because it is a lot of changes. So it is not the same TipCalculator as was at the previous lesson. I'll please reclone this project from scratch, TipCalculator. When you reclone it, you will see lesson week 3, lesson 2 start. It is this lesson. And final code. Another way of dealing with it, you can try to click update project, but it may fail. Yes. My TipCalculator, it is what we typed in the previous lesson. And this is, yeah, it is in week 3, link, that TipCalculator. It is a sort of code that I posted as the previous week, but it's not the same. I changed it. So there are 2 ways to deal with it. Either click update, but it's not guaranteed to do it. It can go into conflicts with updates. Okay. So first, I will go to main, because main will be shown by default. Check out to main. Did you clone it? So let's see what is the difference here. In this code, which is the main, I have class called calculator view model. This is view model, and view model is a special class for Android, special objects for Android, are designed for the tasks that I already mentioned. For example, you start some task that may take a while, and this task should not be killed whenever you rotate the screen. So refresh of the screen will not kill the task. So you can start it here, and it will keep running. Also, you can store state variables in view model, so they will be preserved during rotation. So this is essential reasons for having view model. It's an object where you can start tasks separately from GUI, so GUI does not kill it during updates of the screen. And you can store states here. How you store state? There are multiple ways to it. There are different ways to store values and update it inside the view model. In this particular case, it is stateful. And I will explain it today, but not with this example. So this state flow is storing calculator UI state. So calculator UI state is object that is matching state of the GUI. This is what's called UI state. Okay, state of the GUI. Ideally, how Google writes examples, advanced one, usually it's one object or few objects. So they combine variables inside of an object. And variables inside of the object must be immutable, else. Why? For data consistency. So you update, instead of changing these variables in your code, you create copy of the state and you replace this copy. So this way it is harder to make mistake, and this way it is harder to end up with a state where you have inconsistent variable values. because all variables in the same object, and this is state of your UI. In order to go to next step, you create a copy of it and you replace it inside of state holder with echo. So this is bulletproof approach. But of course, this is kind of religion. Not everyone from Google, not everyone is following, even they don't follow. So in the example, sometimes they have more than one object. And when you do so, make sure that you don't end up with inconsistent variable values. So they don't match each other in any sensible way. So what is current recommended approach is to use stateflow, and stateflow it is data holder, and use as few objects as possible inside of the stateflows to reflect state of UI. In this case, I did one. So I followed this like religious zealot, whatever. One object contains everything, and I replace the states, this object each time when anything happens. Even Google doesn't do the stupid thing. Okay, so not stupid, of course. I shouldn't say stupid. Okay, don't follow this stuff so religiously. Okay, they don't always have one object. So when you do it, apply common sense. So in the today coding example with TipCalculator, we will have separate variables, but some other examples do have one object. Okay, and it is one of those things where you can just kind of say, this is too much. Okay, let's be reasonable. So how it works? In the calculator view model, this is a stateflow object, mutable. It means you can replace this same state inside of it. When you create stateflow, you need to initialize it right away. So this is why I call constructor of this object to create some default state. Yes. But since this is mutable, it means I can replace it, which is good because how else I would change it, right? But GUI is supposed to reflect this state, but not change it. This is prescription from Google. GUI should not change the state; it should only reflect it. Who is changing the state? Your view model. So your GUI is calling functions of your model to change the state. So for this reason, I have a function on change of service cost, on change of service quality, and this is private function for internal use. For example, on change of roundup tip is called, obviously, when I click it as that switch. Yeah. So it calls this function, and what happens here? I need to update the state. Right. So this is public, this is private. Yes.
But that honestly, all your trading content.
Yep.
And that's taking us a plan. There's actually
It's not parameter, it's object.
logging.
It's object itself. So it is stored inside of this container, mutable state flow. Why it is flow? Kind of. Let's postpone this. Okay. We use it as a state. It is not the same state that is triggering screen. State flow cannot trigger screen at all. It is not GUI related object. So what is stateful? It's a kind of a stream with container attached on the end. This is why it's called stateful, because there is container attached on the end. And when we say update, we change content of this container, but we do not touch the flow. So this is not actually using flow. It is only using container on the end of the flow. Okay. Why this is mutable and this is not mutable? They refer to the same object, you see? Because this part is private and this is public. Public is exposed outside of this class. Private is used internally. This is meaning of private and public. So your state flow, it is parent class of mutable state form. It means because it's parent class, you can assign child class to parent class. Like object of child class can be assigned to variable of parent class. This is allowed because of inheritance, right? So immutable state is exposed to GUI, so GUI can set, but mutable state stays private. Two variables refer to the same object, UI state.
Well,
Right? So again, although it states flow, we don't use flow. Please stop chatting and explain extremely hard to understand stuff. Okay? Not extremely, sorry. I shouldn't say extremely, but it's hard. So we have two variables referring to the same object. One it is private, one it is public, and public is not able to change it because it is parent class that do not have update function. So when roundup on change of roundup type, you see it is method. So I will have to typecast it to lambda function. This is your question. Can we use functions? Yeah, methods, yeah, and regular functions we can. So we have to typecast it in order to use lambda functions as lambda function. So what happens here? On change of roundup type, again this parameter, and this is the state, so I call update. How update works? It's obviously it's a method of this state object, right? State flow object. Update is taking lambda function as a parameter, and parameter is previous state. Okay. Return value of this lambda function is new state. So lambda functions typically don't have explicit return. It is whatever is last, and then it will be returned. So how do I create it? New state. I calculate tip, and I copy previous state with replacing variables that needs to be updated. So what you mention in copy will be updated, and previous things will be just copied as a test. So this is how copy works. State is data class. Copy is a method of a data class. You can call copy only from data classes. So I have other things in the state, and when I call copy, I update variables. No, I will create new copy where this will be new values, and others will be copied as it is. This is the question. This is how it's doing it. And the logic is repeated for other updates, not for this checkbox. And tip is recalculated. How this view model is included in GUI? It's another question. As you see, this is kind of separate, right? Next, let's go. Yes?
but we are state everybody
Uh,
of the lane going flex state that both for it. That's where they state copy is done. And it's here.
this state, this one, is data class. It is this calculator UI state. It is this data class. So let's go here. You see, UI state type, it is state flow. It is container that contains UI state object. Okay? This UI state object. This is different kind of container. It's not triggering GUI on its own.
specific time to do so.
Nothing. They related to each other, so you can convert one into another.
Right, so you take one thing,
All of this.
six folding, that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought you were asking about your state that we have inside of GUI. No, nothing. Just different class. You can convert this state flow into that by calling function.
But for that state is God.
This is data class, but this is container of it.
I think what that's what Lloyd states at the time, they cheap but for
This is parameter of lambda function.
data stuff, then it's an
Yeah. Okay. So let's do it again. This will be called from GUI. And this will be new tip round up or not round up Boolean value. Okay. So this is called from GUI. When this is called, I need to update content of this container. What? So how it's done? I call function update of this container. And this function update takes lambda function as a parameter.
I mean, it's awesome. How do you, I don't have, and so during right and gets so anyway, with the talent.
Okay. So this is the object. Okay. This is the method of the object. So I can do brute force call method of the object. So this is essentially how it's done.
I used to calling
Okay, with calling I didn't tell it. This is why you know so. We will call this function, so it is just assume it 12. I will tell you where it is. Okay. So for now, let's assume that GUI is calling this function when we click on checkbox. And this will come from that function call. So when this comes from that function call, we need to update content of the container. So this is a logic. So how do I do it? This is container variable. I call method of that object. This method is update. It's called update. This method, update of this object, takes lambda function as the parameter. So this is lambda function. So when this lambda function is called, the function call will provide current state inside of the container. So it will be current object that I want to replace. Okay. So this is state. It's a current object that I'm about to replace. What this lambda function is returning, it will be new object to replace the current state. Okay. So this is current object, and this will be new object I created by copying of existing object that given to lambda.
Yeah, one in a trace in the thing, please, free. Effective 386 on. So it's wiring either so tight.
I'm not writing, I'm just getting it.
Been getting.
Yeah. And this update takes lambda function that will be called when I call update. So this is just a method call of the container. To the method call, I provided lambda function that will be called by update function. So it is callback essentially. I call update and I provide lambda function, call this lambda function. Okay. Is it clear now?
Oh, no. I can't hack to know and say, I don't want this one wire to where, but you know, and certainly he's setting or things I like. Oh, it's still 88. you get about galaxy, singing the
Eh?
these round.
Oh, because I need to calculate stuff.
Then it will do the one thing
Eh?
and copy another.
Because currently I have only round or do not round zip. I don't have anything else. So I need to get what is bill total, what is tip amount, what is bill total, what is service quality, because this function call has only one parameter. I don't need previous state to calculate tip.
Yeah, no, I mean, just getting in hike, I need to like and fully doing the exact same.
Yeah. This function can only get one Boolean values. It needs other values. So this lambda function is given to update function, and in terms of call this lambda function. And update calls this lambda function, since update can access content of the container, obviously, because it's a method of the container. It calls this lambda function with current state of the container. So this is how state from the container comes into lambda function. Because update is the method of the container, so it has access to content of it. Yeah.
Says within July and that is such a that's what's
Okay. It's a method of mutable stateful. Update, it's a method of mutable stateful.
but you just said that people.
Yeah, it's a library method. It's a method of mutable stateful. Okay. Since it's a method of the container, it has access to what is inside. And it will call lambda function with value that was inside of the container. Okay. So this is the value inside of the container, which is state. Type of calculating a state. And I'm creating new state by calling copy. And copy is a function of data class. How it works? You provide values to be to be updated in the copy, and other things will be just copied as a test. So this is how it is state is updated. And again, this is kind of religious approach. You don't have to do it each time. So it is kind of too much a little bit. Okay. So how view model is integrated into GUI. So let's find it. All right. app root screen. This is entire screen. Remember what I said before. You can still have remember inside of GUI. If it is GUI specific spot, for example. In this case, you just remember if dialog popped up or didn't. So this is state of the dialog. So when it pops up, it will be remembered that it is out. This thing is careful, and now we have top bar and we have calculator body. This piece is popping up dialog. So when this state is true, it will show dialog. So let's put dialog on hold for now and look inside of calculator body. Calculator body, it is what scaffold has inside of it. It's not top bar, it's not floating action pattern, it is main screen. Right? So this is lambda function for main screen. And this is where magic of view model happens. This function, I'll work this way. It will find view model of the matching class if it's already created. If it's not created, it will create one. So this is where view model is coming. So this function is creating view model class if it doesn't exist. or if it exists for current type, it is matched by type. If its view model of this type exists, it will assign it to this function call. Okay. Yes.
So they from the start, the courses are cited. Here or nothing. Then it's building high. It is about something. We've done this all. Why is that see?
What is your conclusion, Saka?
Either the large service so goodbye or back. Yeah.
You mean this thing? Because they're stored in view model now.
So you what?
Yeah, in data class of view. I did use the data class and data class inside of view model.
Yeah.
Yes.
If I think to think of it, the spotlight is adding thanks. There's nothing even back this.
View model is okay. A data class is in this data class can be mutable. This class is not mutable because they have val everywhere. This is why I can create a copy, update it only by creating the copy of it. If you have vars, you can replace it. But recommendation how it's supposed to be done, state must be immutable object.
And that conflicts this.
Yes, it's a copy of class, data class. Regular classes don't have copy. It has to be data class. So going back to app root screen. So this is the meaning of the function view model. So it is passed to calculator screen. So in calculator body. In calculator body, this is my view model, this is UI state. But this is the flow. State flow. State flow cannot trigger update of the screen. Just doesn't have the such function. So collect a state will convert state flow into state object. And state object can update the screen. So collect a state will collect the flow into state such. So this will be state object. But remember, will delegate setter and getter of this variable into state object. So when I assign something here, no, it will not delegate setter because it's val. When it is val, it's only delegate get. So when I get value from this object, it will call getter of state. Getter of state. So this is the state object, and it will trigger update of the screen. So this is why I need to convert state flow into state. State flow is not triggering screen. And this function, what did I do? This function collect a state is converting state flow to state. So when UI state is updated, screen is updated. And you see, this is how I convert methods of an object into other functions. It is double columned. So this is object, this is function inside of the object method, and this is how to convert function into lambda function. So this was a kind of too much in terms of sticking to rules. But in some examples, it's not too much. This is natural. In some examples, this is actually the simplest thing to do. So I provided a couple examples where it is actually the simplest thing to do. this way. You will see. So now let's practice with it and switch branch to start point. Okay, so I'm going to check out lesson to start. So what do I have here? I don't have a model at all. I don't have a state. So instead of creating the state object, let's do it kind of sloppy way. Since it's first property with view model, just store this value separately. But idea is to have to do hands-on on view model. So what do I have? In app root screen, I have scaffold with top bar. Top bar, it is the same, it's labeled on the top. I have calculator body that doesn't have any view model here. There's no view model on this as the file. So at this moment, view model does not exist in the project at all. There is no state class in the model. So calculator body is taking all the body of the screen. So let's run. Not the screen, of the scaffold. What's this? I'm not sure what it's doing. Okay. I need to somehow unsqueeze it. I need to close running devices, right? Device manager and all this. Somehow I need to. Okay, I will close this thing. Running devices. And I will open with device mirror. And I will run it. Still. This is just rotated. Everything is fine. It just remembers previous rotation state. Here it is. It was just rotated device. I thought, what is going on? It was just rotated horizontally. So this program has a scrolling. And when we rotate it, I'm sorry, you can actually scroll this stuff. How it is achieved? First, in the scroll behavior, you can specify how it behaves in terms of top bar. Is it hiding or always on the screen? There are options. So I'm sticking to enter always scroll behavior, and this is how it behaves. When you scroll, the top bar disappears and it keeps scrolling. Okay. There are different options for scroll behavior. Look, check other things, see how they behave. So for now, I'm sticking to this one. And this is how it behaves. Next, scaffold. Top bar, it is this part top bar. Okay. Modifier. In order to link scrolling like this, we need to say modifier nested scroll, and this is scroll behavior nested scroll connection. To connect folding the top with the scrolling. Okay. Yes.
No, it's really anything. Also,
Which configuration? Where is it? You switch it to the same. You need to click elephant. Elephant means synchronization. And after elephant, try ranks.
Which
What? Yes, anyway, still it's sync. If you want to available sync.
yeah, no, it didn't even show this before until I clicked the elephant.
Oh,
So you always have to click the elephant.
when you switch branches, you do.
Oh, fast.
And when it will snap you, this will be available.
Okay, first up.
This is showing a configuration because it's built.
They were showing it even before I just,
Strange.
yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's stuck. Shouldn't.
It wasn't even showing a loading bar when I first loaded up the file. Like now that I pressed the elephant, it started showing work.
Let's hope it will resolve it. Okay. So let's continue with the logic. So this is car fault. In this case, it has only toolbar linked to the same. In other examples, we'll have floating button and also toolbar at the bottom, at the left. It all goes to scar fault as a separate parameters. Last lambda function of the scar fault, it is what is inside. And what is inside, I call calculator body. And modifier receives padding given from scar fault. Why scar fault gives padding to this piece? Reason is that scar fault may have something overlapping this stuff. Okay? So this padding is to resolve this overlap issue. So if scar fault has something that potentially overlap your stuff here, you add this padding to create extra space in the body that will be just overlapped by elements of scar fault. Yes?
It's just going to a line.
Oh, please say the same but louder. I couldn't catch.
You have to add a time here. How
You don't know this thing. GUI gives you this part. For example, GUI insert in the GUI you have a bottom bar. You don't know size of it because it's calculated by GUI. So in order to avoid bottom bar overlapping your screen, you insert this padding into your project, into the body. So at the bottom, you have extra white space that will be just overlapped by toolbar at the bottom. Okay. So the meaning of this padding, inner padding, is to avoiding overlap of stuff provided by scaffold with useful things that you want to display. Is it clear? For example, you want to display the same, but what if this part is too wide so it will overlap, top bar will overlap the same? So this padding is necessary white space to overlap things between, or to avoid overlap between things provided by scaffold and the body inside. Is it clear now? So imagine like a padding has a toolbar, scaffold has a toolbar here. And your text also starts from the left. So toolbar may potentially overlap your text. Or it can happen. So this padding is extra white space for what you have inside at the left, for example, to avoid overlap between this toolbar and your window.
Like, all
Huh?
thing that that's the one that is deep.
Mm-hmm.
There's also an into about this done. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really good something.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Well, in your time, yeah, I think you got it. Maybe we don't find it.
it is still there. Because look,
Yeah,
I pass padding as modifier object. So this object is given to calculator body. So this modifier already has this padding. And when this function is called, this body, or this calculator body, this variable already has that padding. It's not new modifier, it is modifier passed in the function call. And you add extra padding here, this, on top of that necessary thing. So what you see here, it is guaranteed to be 32-zip GP. And whatever was inserted with extra padding is under this toolbar. Toolbar. Okay. And I stretch this to entire screen. Okay. So since this part does not have, so that was logic about scaffold. So I will rotate. Since this program, this version does not have view model at all, I copy pasted this thing from what we typed last time. Okay. So this is our previous code essentially, copy pasted into fancier project. So what else is here? I edited a little bit service calculator tip. Remember that later we decided that maybe we should have none of the above option. Or maybe we want to have customizable percentage through settings. So for this case, I edited the logic such way I have calculated tip function, which has service quality as a parameter, but it's calling the function that we type it in class. So I copy pasted it. And I still have functions that we type in class. So I copy pasted our class codes into this project. So let's go back to body. And calculation is done here, not in view model because view model doesn't exist. Okay? Questions? And you see, now we have calculate inputs and calculate outputs. Calculate outputs just pass it as the variables because they're just variables kept. And calculate inputs, this is lambda function, this is variable, another lambda function. So this is previous approach. You pass lambda functions that will update these variables. Okay? Questions? I just have extra function for wrapping inputs, and I have extra function of wrapping outputs. So inside of inputs, this one, you see, I pass lambda function plus values, and inside of inputs, I have card. This is card. Inside of the card, I have column. This is column. I have service cost input, it is this space. Service quality input, it is this space. And roundup tip input, it is this. Wrap it as column. So it is just GUI function instead of another GUI function. Questions? And definitely this lambda function is going down the chain, right? it is received here and it goes down the chain into service cost input, for example. So this have service cost input, where it is service. Oh, it is below. See, it is this lambda function is going down the chain, and in the chain, it is the same word. But what is different? Any questions so far? These radio buttons behave differently if you compare to our code copied in class. So what is the difference? In our previous version, if you click on radio button, obviously it is switching. But in this current version, you don't have to click on specific radio button. You can click on text, and it's also switching. See, this is also triggering radio button. This is a little nicer behavior, right? Then you have to aim into radio. How it is achieved? It is just because you in Compose, you can make almost anything clickable. Yeah. How to do it? You see row. This row has a modifier, and I made it clickable. So instead of passing lambda function to radio button, I passed this to row because I made row clickable. Okay, so this is definitely the difference between this version and our simple version from predecessor. Because in order to pass, if I pass lambda function to radio button, radio button will be clickable, but not the row. But if I want row to be clickable, I change modifier of the row to make it clickable, and I give the lambda function. Okay. Questions? So this is extra information that we can make other things clickable. And when it is clickable, you click on it, you see you have animations. Let something happen. Questions? So this is definitely different behavior. Right? Instead of radio button, and when you make row clickable, you assign null to one click of radio button because this is required parameter. And remember that type is either lambda function or null because it was nullable lambda function type. Correct? We already saw this. Questions? So this is a definitely new piece of theory that you can make other things clickable using modifier. Next. So just browse the code later, you'll see how it is organized. It is just in this, nothing special. I added extra margins, I added different font sizes. Now let's go to a new topic, view model. This code obviously doesn't have view model. So let's add one. Yes?
Actually, the ball building.
Okay, so yes, good point. So let's have a break. I will start recording.